The man endured the great pain and accepted the mechanical transformation. All the bones in his body were replaced with high-tech ones. The man's name is George. He was once a top agent, but he was instigated by a terrorist organization and became a terrorist after a transformation. Now George's fighting power is very strong. It's really hard to die. The terrorist organization that George belongs to has recently created a super virus. The operation went very smoothly and we quickly subdued the terrorist organization and successfully grabbed the virus. The movement was over. Unexpectedly, George rushed to him. Wu-Mei quickly raised her gun and asked him to lie down. George was not panicked at all. After scanning, he suddenly shot out and easily killed the group of special forces. The female protagonist, Anna, shot at George one after another. George easily blocked his glasses. Anna couldn't beat him. She hurriedly got in the car and ran away. George fired a vertical gun, causing the truck to overturn on the ground. Anna wanted to take out the virus and escape, but the virus had been loaded into the heavy injection machine. The glasses couldn't be taken away. Anna would only inject the virus. George was very angry because he didn't catch Anna. He picked up the agent's phone and pretended to be an agent. Anna stole the virus and killed all the agents. When the agent leader heard that Anna stole the virus, he sent 2 super agents, Colin and Johnson, to catch Anna. Both of them were tough guys, but they didn't like each other. Since they couldn't work together, they just acted separately. Johnson found Anna first, but Anna didn't believe anyone, so he took action first. But which one was Johnson's? The opponent was caught and brought to the police station. Johnson saw they said Anna was framed, but Anna refused to tell them about the virus. They had a disagreement and started fighting again. Colin rushed over and took out a gun to stop them. It turned out that Anna was Colin's sister, but they didn't have a good relationship. After a burst of gunfire, Anna told the truth that the virus was in her body, and then she turned around and left. Suddenly, a strong shockwave shocked everyone. It was George who came. After the immediate shooting, George picked up NR and jumped down the building. The duck in his mouth flew away. Johnson was furious. He shouted to his elder brother that they should jump down together. He just jumped down. The elder brother turned around and walked into the elevator. Then he pressed the quick button and began to slide down quickly. Johnson on this side loosened the rope and jumped directly. He hit a person and killed one. Then he jumped to another, and it was just playing. Anna quickly opened the rope and George fell on the glass. Just as George was about to take action, Johnson hit him again. The 3 of them fell into the car together. The elder brother on this side rushed over and quickly solved several problems. Thugs, Johnson threw a punch first trying to beat George up, but he was a modified robot. Johnson was smashed by a punch, and the eldest brother took action and was easily turned around. The difference in strength between Johnson and Jian was too great. He picked up a bomb and threw it under the car, trapping George. Then the 3 of them quickly drove away. George rode a motorcycle and chased them frantically. During the escape, Johnson showed his tough guy attributes and broke the car window and caught a thug. Then another one came. Colin blocked the way with the truck. He took advantage of the low body of the sports car and stepped on the accelerator to quickly pass through. George was not to be outdone and disassembled the motorcycle and passed through a gap. Using the bus as a cover, they went around to the front. George Baker flew into the bus with his car. Although he escaped successfully, the crisis was not resolved. They had to separate the virus from Anna as soon as possible. They found an After looking at it, the expert said that the virus must be separated within 48 hours, otherwise it would cause countless deaths once released. The expert said that there was a machine that could successfully separate the virus, but the machine was in the hands of the terrorist organization. The 3 of them stole it together. Certainly, if she is not awake, she might as well make a feint to the east and take the machine herself. Colin and Jason are responsible for attracting Anna to steal the machine in the chaos. But the terrorist base is too big, and the few people don't know where the machine is hidden. After thinking about it, Anna decided to let her friends pretend to be gangsters and sent herself to George. When George saw Anna, he immediately asked the expert to separate her from the ward with the machine. He didn't recognize this expert and was almost caught. The 2 people here easily covered up several sweep positions in the airbase, but just now, as soon as they opened the door, dozens of terrorists surrounded George and killed 2 people. However, the vague boss took a fancy to them and advised them to surrender to the organization. George had to fight Bay first. There were only 2 guards left in their laboratory, so Anna Jian opened the handcuffs and easily subdued the guards. Then he took the machine and ran away. Da Zhen and Gunshin were in a miserable situation. The 2 were tied to the electric chair. George asked them to choose whether to surrender or die. This high-voltage electric chair would kill people after 3 consecutive shots, but the gun couldn't fire bullets at all because their guns needed to be activated to be used. Fortunately, the expert picked up the flamethrower and blew away George and Colin. The 2 took the opportunity to burn the iron chain with needles. A melee started. Fortunately, the 2 of them had no practice in fighting. They stole a car and took Anna away. George chased them. After a gunfight, Colin's car lost power. Only at this moment did he drive his car to Johnson's car. Johnson asked Anna to drive the car and he turned around and got in the car. George followed closely. The 3 of them started fighting again. The 2 took turns to fight, but they were still no match for George. George was in a riot. Fortunately, the smoke bug next to him happened to catch the car. But it seemed, although he escaped successfully, the machine they stole with great difficulty was broken in the fight. Time waits for no one. Johnson suggested to find his brother to use his repair skills to fix the machine. They immediately rushed to go to Johnson's hometown, but as soon as he entered the door, his brother punched him. It turned out that the two brothers, fortunately, the mother felt sorry for Chiangsheng and ordered her son to. The three of them knew that George would soon catch up with them, so they hurried to protect themselves. But when they opened the armory, they were dumbfounded. There was not a single gun in it, only cold weapon. It turned out that the mother was worried that her son would continue to do bad things, so she found a gun and threw it away. At this time, Deji thought that the gun of the Terror Braid needed to be activated before it could be used, so he asked Anna to hack their weapon system. Both sides didn't need to worry about whether to use the separated that must last for 30 minutes without interrupt. Not long after, George came with the terrorist. Before the battle, Johnson led this group of strong. George was confused and then ordered to open fire. But when he pulled the trigger, he found that the guns could not fire at all because Anna had damaged their weapon system. Johnson asked the brothers to detonate the bombs before going to bed. Several cars flew into the sky and lied to several terrorists. Kalanna's side took the opportunity to drive a car surrounded them with flames. Neither side had guns. A flesh and blood battle began. Since Johnson's brothers they are all strong men, so they won't suffer any loss in the hand-to-hand fight. George saw that the situation was not good, so he grabbed Anna and tried to get on the helicopter to escape, but Big Brother and Johnson drove her away and chased her madly. Johnson threw out the iron chain and successfully hooked her into the helicopter, but the helicopter was so powerful that it pulled the car up. At the critical moment, the drivers took out chains and hooked Johnson's car, but the power was still not enough. Fortunately, several more cars came and pulled the helicopter smoothly. When the helicopter passed a cliff, George wanted to pull them all into the sea. Fortunately, Johnson's increased horsepower successfully pulled the plane back. At this tense moment, George's group's weapon system recovered and a shell directly scattered the car. At this time, as the vehicles passed through the trap area, dozens of iron barrel bombs were distributed and exploded into the sky, instantly destroying the overseas Chinese owner's convoy. At the critical moment, the iron chain holding the plane was about to break. Jiang Qiang went forward and grabbed the iron chain. He showed his muscles to George. There was nothing he could do. Due to insufficient power, the plane fell off the cliff and took Cologne and the other two with it. Falling from such a high cliff, the few people adhered to the principle that they would not die unless the director allowed them to die. What was going on? At this time, the three of them were furious and started a fight again. At the beginning, Daji and the other two were not opponents and were beaten up in various ways. Fortunately, the two were beaten up. The solution is that one person takes the beating while the other fights back. The two of them joined forces to start a counterattack and gave George a pair of runaway. Anna saw that the time was up and directly used the wire to ignite the plane. The guard next to it was instantly blown away. Johnson also used his ultimate move and George hit the stone hard. Colin raised his gun and wanted to kill him, but he gave up and wanted to spare his life because of their old friendship.